and welcome to Tazori Home. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 different ways to set your table for Easter. Easter is coming up very soon, and I really believe that setting a beautiful, intentional table can make all the difference in your Easter gathering. I love setting the table. You know that if you've been watching my videos for a while, but I'm so excited to take you through these 3 different takes on an Easter tablescape that I hope will bring you inspiration. I also do want to mention that we are having Jennifer Weaver on for a live call inside of our membership this month, coming up on April 17th, and she's going to be talking all about tablescapes, how to set a beautiful table. Few people set the table as intentionally and with as much care and artistry as Jen does, and so I'm so excited to have her on inside of our membership for a live call with our members where they'll get to ask her all their questions in real time. We'll go through Jen's process from conception to execution with table setting. So that's going to be a really fun live call. We do them every month inside of our membership and would love to have you join us. So if you want to refine your eye for design and improve on your hosting skills and do it alongside a wonderful group of women who are there to challenge you and support you on your journey, head to the link down in the description below and see how you can join us inside of our membership today. I would so love to welcome you in and to get to know you a bit better. So without further ado, let's get to setting the table. I'm so excited. Also, so this first table is going to be a more minimal table setting. So if you're into the minimal look, more monochromatic, more neutral colors, this table might be your favorite. So I'm going to start off with a linen tablecloth. I got this from Zara Home a few years ago, and I just think everybody should have a linen tablecloth to pull from for gatherings. I always like to start with a centerpiece, and for this table I'm using this beautiful piece of pottery I got from Gina Tam Studio. Make sure to follow her on Instagram. She has such beautiful pieces, but this will be the centerpiece and I'm going to put flowers in it and use flower frogs to do so, which we will do in a little bit. I'm going to use my Crate and Barrel Mercer plates. These are just so, I love them. They're so imperfect and kind of earthy. And I love to layer plates as well. So I'm going to layer these plates with the salad plates. Even if you're not going to use the salad plates, I think that layering plates really adds a lot and just makes it feel a little extra special. This is all vintage silverware that my mom and I collected for my wedding, and now I just use as our regular silverware. I just think it's so special. I really believe that for setting a table, you want a mix of new and old. And so I love that we've got these like new plates and even this really cool piece of pottery. And then we've got the vintage silverware and the vintage glassware coming. I just think mixing new and old is always the way to go in home and when setting a table. I have these beautiful etched glasses. I forget where I got these, some antique shop somewhere, but I just love them. They're so delicate and dainty, and I think they're perfect for this vibe. My mom actually sent me a reel of this really fun way to fold napkins for Easter, and I have these beautiful marble eggs that I'm gonna use. So let's see how this goes. You're gonna take your napkin. This is just a linen napkin that actually, is it like linen? It's like a cheesecloth kind of from Anthropology. I use these for everything. You're gonna fold it into a triangle. Are you? Yes. And then you're gonna roll it up like this. And then you're going to wrap it around your marble egg. If you don't have a marble alabaster egg, you can paint a hard-boiled egg. And then I'm just gonna take this string. You can also use like a beautiful ribbon, but I'm just using this string today. And I'm going to tie it. I'm gonna hide those, flip it over, and voila. You've got a little bunny rabbit. So I'm just gonna do that with the rest. Now, I've said this many times before on this channel, but if you don't already have a flower frog, you need a flower frog. This is gonna make flower arranging so much more fun for you. So I'm just gonna place this flower frog, which I got from the thrift store, in the bottom. You can also buy them on Amazon. And I'm going to put tulips in here. And you just stick them in the like wire base, iron base, and they just will stick right up. So you can place them however you desire. I love a monochromatic look because it's just whites on creams on whites, and I just feel like if you really lean into that look, it can be really beautiful. Now we do have this silver from the silverware, so I do want to put out a couple silver bud vases to tie in another material. You know, we've got the ceramics, we've got the silverware, and then we've got glass. And so I think kind of playing with 3 different materials that go together really can make something that is really simple not feel so flat. So I'm gonna add those 2 bud vases and stick these tulips in there and see how it looks. These I also got from an antique shop. The only things that are new are this pottery and my dinnerware and the napkins, but all the like decor pieces oftentimes are vintage or antique from various antique shops and thrift stores and estate sales and all the things. And I go into this inside of our membership. If you don't know how to find vintage pieces at the right price and you don't know what to look for or where to look, I have a whole sourcing vintage 101 course that I'm giving you for free. It is down in the link in the description below. So make sure to check that out if you want to really get better at finding vintage pieces for your home. One there. Also, if you didn't want to do a centerpiece, you could just have beautiful bud vases going down the table with tulips in it. I feel like even those 2 just added so much. I believe every single table needs candle light, and I love some taper candles, so I'm using these beautiful alabaster candle holders that I also got from an antique store. I'm actually going to move the tulips out a bit. And these candles, I love like a long candle, especially for a holiday. So like Easter, I feel like it calls for some height because it's extra special. And these ones I just got from Michael's, and they're really pretty, like greenish gray. And I feel like that just really adds a lot. I also don't love everything in a perfect line. Like I like things to kind of be in a triangle. So I'm gonna pull these out a little bit. Maybe these go this way, no, this way. Like this. Now you could leave this like this, but I'm gonna add in a couple little odds and ends to just add a little bit more. So you can see if you're more minimal, you can scale this back or you can add to it. My mom loves lambs and she has so many little lambs, so I asked her if I could borrow this. And I just think it's Easter, and what better way to decorate than with lambs? So you could put these 2 little lambs just to add a little bit of fun. I know it's not for everyone, but I feel like that just adds such a sweet little touch. Now, I have been so wanting to use these beautiful little name card holders. They're just ceramic, they're floral, and they're perfect for spring and for Easter. This is my minimal Easter table for all you minimal lovers. Again, you can add to this, you can take away from it, but I hope this inspires you with your Easter table this year. Another thing I want to add, if this is a little bit cold for you, is placemats. If you did want to warm things up a bit, you could always use a placemat like this underneath right here, and that adds just another layer if you like a little touch of warmth. This kind of takes it a different direction, but that is an option for you. Next up, we're gonna go with a more blue and white garden Easter look, which will be very different than this. So let's get to it. I'm actually just gonna do everything straight on the table because I have this beautiful stone table It's worn, it's got all these marks, and I love it. So I'm gonna just start again with the centerpiece and build from there. Trust the process. I'm gonna start off with this terracotta planter I have, and I got this ivy plant from the grocery store the other day that I'm just going to plop in here. So we're gonna start with you in the center. I'm gonna use placemats for this one, so I'm gonna just lay these down. I feel like these feel very garden-esque. I borrowed these beautiful blue and white plates from my mother-in-law, and I'm going to layer them here on the table. Okay, one. Now all of these plates are a bit mismatched. I don't mind mismatch, especially when it comes to vintage wear. You just want to make sure that there's something tying it together, like color palette or material, and so I think this is perfect. For this table, I'm going to use these beautiful glasses I got from a rummage sale. They have this beautiful white detailing on them. I love them so much. If I had cane wrapped glasses, I'll put a picture of an example of what I'm talking about. I would use those for this table setting, but I don't. So these beautiful glasses will do. I am gonna use the same napkins for this table, but I'm gonna place them a different way. I'm just gonna fold them in a rectangle like this, and then I'm gonna place them underneath the plates like this, so they're like hanging off the table. This is a really easy way to add just layers to your table. I'm always thinking about layering with napkins. My mom actually picked these daffodils for me, and so I'm gonna put them in this vase. I love, wow, that's a lot of daffodils. Again, you don't have to spend money on flowers in the spring. Daffodils are really beautiful. If I did daffodils in that original pottery piece that I showed you in the first table setting, that would have been really beautiful as well. So get creative. This might be a little too full for my liking. Let's see. Okay, I'm not totally in love with how these are both two large pieces. I feel like it's a little distracting and a little clunky. I feel like if it was one or the other, it would be really beautiful. Like you could do this as the centerpiece, or you could do this. I'm gonna try to mix both, but again, you can play around with what you want. If I put this here, and then I use bud vases for the daffodils instead, then I feel like that achieves the look I'm going for better. Yeah, that's it. I love that so much more because you get the touch of yellow, little wild, you get the garden plant, and that kind of gives off the feel that I'm going for more. Now we need candlelight, like I said, always necessary. I have these beautiful ceramic flower candle holders that I actually got from my wedding and used on my sweetheart table. And so I'm just gonna place those here. I just think it really goes along with that garden theme. And I'm gonna use this amazing invention called Stickum, which you can get on Amazon. And I just always put them on the bottom of these candles for these more wide candle holders. And they stick them in there. Aha. Beautiful. And again, I'm always kind of creating triangles with the pieces, so nothing's like perfectly straight. I want to tie in the silver a bit more, so I'm putting this silver pedestal bowl right here with some flaky sea salt on the table. Then we're going to use these same name cards, only we're going to place them on the center of the plate. And I want to try something. You could leave it like this and this would be beautiful, but because we're going garden theme, might as well really commit to the bit. And I got these carrots with the stems on. You can kind of weave them through. Make sure you're not covering like people's glasses and such. But just to add another natural element here. Do we like this? I don't know if I love it. Maybe if there were no, you could do it without the yellow, like maybe just the planter and the carrots. You decide, you choose your own journey. This is your table setting. You might love this, you might hate this. You can do without it. That's why we play. For me personally, I'm thinking less is more for this one. But this is part of setting tables. It's playing, it's trying things out, and seeing what feels right to you. So whatever feels right to you, go with that, because that's what you're gonna love most and what you're gonna be most happy surrounded with. Goodbye, carrots. I'll eat you later. And there you have it. Here is my garden blue and white table for Easter. Totally different vibe than the first, but I think it's super beautiful. Not quite so elegant, more rustic and just garden-y feel, like a more casual feel. I hope you love this second table. And now we're moving on to the third, which I'm very excited about. As I was cleaning the table, I took the blue and white plates off and I had a vision come to me. And it was to not do blue and white and to do these flower plates instead. Now, if you love the blue and white, by all means go all in on that, but this is actually the look that I would love to go for. This is just a perfect example of how when you're setting the table, ideas will come, you'll see something might not feel quite right, and you can change and play. It's good to start off with a plan, but it's good to hold it loosely. I go way further into this inside of our membership community, and we'll be going into this idea too in our live call this month, so make sure to join for that. But now I'm gonna set the table with these beautiful ceramic scalloped plates that mimic flowers, which I think is perfect for this garden table. You're gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm back with the carrots. My mom actually gave me this idea of taking the greens, since I didn't love the orange, and just using the greens and kind of tucking them into the napkin, and it just adds another layer of beauty. That's why it's also fun to co-host with people, because you'll see different things and different things will come to your mind. So if you have somebody else who sees and you can bounce ideas off of each other, that helps so much. But this, I just feel like, adds so much to this already beautiful table. Okay, wait, that is gorgeous. So my second camera gave out for a little bit, but it's going to return very shortly. So I'm just going to explain a bit about this third table and the direction I'm going with it. This is going to be my whimsical Easter table. And I'm starting off with this centerpiece, which is an iron clamshell that was a bird bath. I love using pieces for their non-intended use. So this was a really fun one that I wanted to use as a centerpiece. You'll see what I'm going to do with it in a moment. I'm also reusing these scalloped plates as well as the glassware from the last table. I really feel that the centerpiece is what dictates the overall feel of your table, and you can reuse a lot of the same pieces that you use for different table settings. You don't have to always have new inventory for that, and just the way you're going to mix and match it with other pieces will really change up the feel, so keep that in mind. But for the centerpiece, I'm obviously going colorful. This is, like, for me, quintessentially Easter. These colors just scream Easter to me, and I love them so much. So I'm mixing some flowers I got from the grocery store with tulips and then also daffodils, and I'm really making sure to put those flowers on different planes so it creates a really nice full look. I go into this idea a lot more in my flower arranging video, which I'll tag up above. And then these blue petals fell off of the blue flowers, and I thought it would be nice to scatter them along the table for that whimsy feel. I'm using my flower candle holders and also these pink tea paper candles for this table. And then as far as napkins go, my mom taught me this fun trick where you put a cup on the center of your napkin and you twist it, and it creates this really nice swirly design. And I'm placing my marble eggs right in the center of those napkins. So now my camera returns back to normal and we can continue the video. I'll put these tulips back that we used in the first. I think I am gonna put the placemats on. I think it kind of goes with this theme. Adds a little bit of warmth. It feels a little more like woodsy, kind of. I just felt like it was missing something. Last but not least, the name cards. We'll put you maybe at the top here. Now we'll put you back there. I'm gonna put the tops of these flowers floating in the water since I have all these daffodils. And you could also do without these flowers and just do floating flowers, especially because sometimes you want to be aware of height, right? If we're sitting and we can't converse, that's something to think about. Maybe make this arrangement a little shorter for easier conversation, or put it in a place maybe with your spread of food so that you're not having to talk through a lot of flowers. But you could also do floating flowers, which those look so pretty. I just want to do a couple because I don't think it needs more than that. And there you have it. This is our third and final table, more of a wild feel, kind of like fairy tale-esque, and I just love these colors for spring. I'm so curious, which table is your vibe? Was it the minimal first table, more monochromatic look? Is it the second, more garden feeling table, or this kind of like wild storybook kind of feeling table? Let me know which table, 1, 2, or 3 is your favorite below. And also don't forget, we are talking all about how to create a beautiful table setting with Jennifer Weaver this month inside of our membership. So make sure, if you want to join for that live call and all of our other live calls that we do monthly with industry experts on all topics pertaining to design, homemaking, hospitality, hosting, make sure to join us inside of our membership. We would love to welcome you in and get to know you better. All the information is down below. Thank you so much for watching, and happy Easter. This is one of my favorite seasons to celebrate because it reminds me of just the redemption we have in Jesus Christ. So love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.